it's hard to find that thing that you love that much, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of the key to this whole deal. Right, and for those of us that are really lucky, you can find what that thing is at a very early age. Other times it requires a lot more work. It requires a lot of trying and experimenting. Right. When you find that thing, it's like, right? You don't have to wake up in the morning and psych yourself up like, oh man, I gotta do this today. All right, I gotta get jazzed up. Like every morning you wake up, you're like, I can't wait. And that's like, that's more than 80% of the battle, I think. I learned at an early age from something actually that has nothing to do with basketball, but everything to do with it. I was in a karate class, and I was just starting out. I was a white belt, and for some reason, like we have these days during the week where everybody kind of sits in a circle, and you duke it out with another belt. You work on all the things that you were just working on. And so I was fairly talented, right? So the guy goes, okay, sensei, all right, you're going to go up against this guy. And this guy's a brown belt. And he's like 2 years older. And I'm like, what the? I'm not going to fight this dude, man. You crazy? Like, no, I'm not, And now you have the headgear on. You got all this stuff on, right? You got foot gloves on, the whole thing, right? And I was freaking out, completely freaking out. And he told me at the beginning of class, so the whole class I'm freaking out. And so I wind up fighting this guy, and I get my butt kicked, right? But I remember, I was about 8 years old. In the car on the way home, I remember thinking that my imagination made it worse. In my own head, it was going to be the worst thing ever. Then I actually fought him, and it wasn't. It's like, it was okay, and I did okay, right? But that taught me a very early lesson, is that we can get in our own heads so much. We can psych ourselves out so much. We can almost talk ourselves into a fearful situation, right, as opposed to just being. And I've never forgotten that lesson. You don't run from those moments.
Yeah, right.
You don't run from them. You embrace them, right? You got to embrace the storms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fears that we have, those moments of suffering, they're all part of the process. They're all part of growth. It's nature, right? You got to be able to handle those things, man.
And what I've done throughout my career is I've taken really dark moments of isolation, of fear, of failure. I've taken those things and I've chosen to use those things. I've chosen to use those darker moments to try to create something greater.
Yeah, people, you can feel it. Certain people have a certain energy about them. When there are people in the world that are focused and I wake up in the morning with a purpose. This is what I'm doing. You can feel that energy, right? You can feel it because it's a kindred spirit. So those are the people that I tend to work with a lot. And if you don't have that, I can sense it. Right. But we're also very disciplined. If you're a person that's very distracted, hanging around the wrong crowd, not having that sense of purpose, we don't want to be around it. Because that stuff will bring you down, man. So we're very, very disciplined, very, very focused on finding, writers, editors, story artists, you name it,
yeah,
that have a true passion for what it is that they do.
If unless something changes, next season is going to be my last season. And then finally I realized, I said, well, you can't make this decision based off of something changing. This is something that's internal. Do you want to do this or not? And if the answer is no, then that passion is no longer there the way it used to be. So just let it go.
I've always said that I wanted to be remembered as a player that didn't waste a moment, didn't waste a day. And I felt extremely blessed by the God-given talent. But at the same time, I didn't take it for granted at all. And so if I could be remembered as a person that was born with a lot of talent, but did everything he could to try to overachieve, and lived every day as if he was the 12th guy on the bench, I think that's a very powerful message to have, and something that hopefully the players that are now and players that will come later choose to embody as well.